Welcome to the first year drawing workshop, Graphite. This is video D3 now, and you should have also gotten from your professor a sheet that looks like this, which you can either print out or you can recreate in your sketchbook or on your Bristol pad. You want to have 11 boxes in a row times 2, and this is going to teach us value and tone, and I'm going to also teach us, it's also going to teach us how to do texture. So 0 is white, so that one's already done. 1 is the lightest and 10 is black. So what we're going to eventually do is fill these all in with a gradation of different grays from white to black and everything in between in a value system of 1 through 10. There's 2 of them, so you can do 2 of your favorite textures on each one of those. And then we have 9 squares over here where you can do a value of 2 with one more different type of texture, a value of 5 with a fourth texture, and a value of 9 with yet a 5th texture. We're going to work on this box a little bit later, and then we'll have this little sketch ready to go to explore these different values and tones and textures. I'm going to move this over for right now and just go over some of the different textures you can do. You want to have a soft pencil, 2B or softer. Don't use a 2H or any of those unless you're trying to get a really soft, light value of like 1 or 2. But after that, you need the softer pencil. I've got a bunch here waiting in the wings. So one of my favorite textures, which works really well for lawns or fields, you guys are going to be eventually doing some stuff with Design Village in Graphite. This texture might work really well. It's just a continuous, what I call sort of mowing of the lawn, where you lay down the same diagonal line over and over and over again, but doing it in a row. So it ends up looking like maybe a mowed lawn or a field. The next one that I like is similar, but you keep changing it up. So you might go vertical, you might go diagonal, 45, some horizontal, some vertical again. And in this one, you're just kind of changing it up so you get a constant menagerie of textures going on in a more haphazard way. I like this one even better than mowing the lawn because it's a lot more forgiving. So just keep mixing it up as you're going. And if you didn't make it dark enough, you can always even add some more texture as you see fit. Another one is the crosshatch. So you just keep adding lines right next to each other. Kind of like if you look really closely at a dollar bill or any U.S. bill, all of those lines that go up to make George Washington are just actually cross-hatched, and they're you have to look at it really closely to see it. But once you notice that, it's really just a series of cross-hatches. And so if you need to get darker, you can go perpendicular to that. And if you need to get darker still, you can start adding the diagonal lines too. So this is the crosshatch. So already now you have 3 different textures: the mowing of the lawn, the kind of haphazard texture, and the crosshatch. Another one that's really common is the stippling effect, where you just kind of hit it with a series of dots. I don't recommend this for the darker values because you'll be sitting here stippling all day to get this to a 10. But it's perfect if you're trying to hit like a 1 or a 2 or even a 3. It's kind of good for expressing pavement or concrete. Funny story, when some of the older professors among us were taking the design exams for licensure, you had to actually hand draft your final project in the design exam. You were given a program, you designed it, and then you had to draft it up in the time frame. And invariably there were some jokers that were stippling like an hour or two early to make it seem like they were all done. But the stippling was kind of like the last thing you would do to kind of suggest the concrete on the building or the concrete on the pavement. And then the other one I like is the squirrely lines. So you kind of do a series of circles. This one is also kind of freeing, like the one we were looking at up here, where it was kind of a haphazard hatch, because you can just kind of keep going with it until you get to the proper value. Incidentally, you can always drop a value down if you go too dark by pulling out your kneaded eraser, that gray eraser, and just sort of drop it down on top of that and pull off a value or two. But you can go lighter if you need to with this circle approach too. And it's also very forgiving, like the haphazard crosshatch we were looking at earlier. The nice thing about this too is if you need to get darker, you can just keep adding more stuff to it too. Basically, the darker values just have less white spots in the middle. And you can go for an even darker, softer lead if you really need to. Let's see if I've got like a 6B here somewhere. This is a 2B. That should be good. You just need to get it even darker. You just keep adding more circles. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different textures that you can explore in the value tones. So the next thing we're going to do is start adding these textures into this grouping so you can explore the gradation of white to black and all the grays in between.